Hey guys, this is Coop from Garage Gym Reviews, and today I'm reviewing this bad boy. This is the Torque Fitness Endless Rope Trainer. This is basically a Torque Tank M1 that we've reviewed, which is a sled that is then attached to an upright, and instead of using it as a push sled, it uses a rope, an endless rope for pulls, lat pull downs, all different conditioning pieces, things like that. This one just came out. We've had a prototype for about 2 weeks, a week or so. And so I want to get into some details of what I really like and some of the things that I'm not a huge fan of. So let's do it. Okay, here is the formula for the greatest piece of home gym equipment. Something that has just an insane amount of versatility, but has on the inverse, a very small footprint. If it can just do a whole lot of things and take up little space, that is the ideal piece of gym equipment. It's one of the reasons that adjustable dumbbells are so nice. It's another reason that we use barbells and a lot of these training pieces. Squat racks are one of those that takes up a big footprint, but it can do so much that it's allowed in the space. And that's one of the biggest reasons that I like the Endless Rope Trainer. It essentially takes up no additional space from what you're already using. The reason being is you just attach it to a rack. For me, as I'll show you, I attach it to my storage rack. You could also attach it to a wall or some other, basically upright that you've got, and then you can use it there. It's just taking up wall space, and most people in a garage gym or a home gym have more wall space than they do floor space. So this takes up pretty much no floor space, and it can do a lot, and that's what I like about it. So I'm going to show you some movements here in a moment, but I just want to talk through some basic mechanics of the machine before I show you kind of how it works. So to start, there's this swivel pulley system, and this swivel pulley system essentially allows you to use the rope not just up and down vertically, but also a little bit farther out. The reason that's nice is because if you are attached to an upright, it's kind of hard to get directly under it without feeling somewhat, uncomfortable. So being able to be farther away, one, adds to the movement versatility, but it also allows you to basically use it in other ways that you wouldn't if you just had to use it directly under. And so that system right there is nice. One of the main reasons I like that is because it prevents you from having to think about what's happening with the rope. You don't want to think about the thing you're using. You just want to focus on the workout, especially if you're doing something that's like high intensity, which this is really designed for, and that's why that's nice. The way that this is getting resistance though, and this is the biggest piece of it all, is it's using magnetic resistance. So very similar to their tank system and some others out there that we've seen. We've reviewed treadmills that use magnetic resistance, but the big one is this is essentially the Torque Tank M1 on a system that uses a rope. So the magnetic resistance is basically taking a magnetic flywheel and putting it closer and closer and closer to a magnet, and that provides more resistance. It's very consistent. It's bidirectional, meaning it goes both ways. Regardless of if you're pulling on this rope or this rope, it's still going to work. And then it has 4 different settings. So you're able to go from really what is very lightweight. I wouldn't say it's a neutral. There is some resistance there on the level 1, all the way to a level 4, which I would say it provides maybe starting around 150, maybe a little bit less pounds of resistance, and it's ever increasing. So similar to an assault bike, the harder you push against it, the harder it resists. So the harder you pull on this, the harder it resists. And it's kind of an infinite amount of resistance, and it sucks. I'm telling you, it is a very hard workout. But it's something that, due to the way that it resists, it's not using weight plates. It's something that really anybody can do. In fact, I had my videographer's son come over yesterday because he was wanted to help him, and he used this, no problem at all. Was able to play with it, and he could use the level 4, although he kind of just had to jump up top and wait for him to pull down. So it was pretty funny. But before we go any further, I'm going to show you how it mounts, and then I want to show you some of the movements because that's really what I want to focus on. So let's do it. Now you can mount this to a squat rack upright or the wall. I'm going to mount it to a squat rack upright that is my storage rack because I'm extra and I like to keep it out of the way. So they send you these bad boys, and these are very nice if you're using any sort of like, say, Monster Light accessory, a 5/8 inch pin, and you want to put it in a 1-inch hole. These are great. I've used these many times, but they send these with it. So a pretty simple process. We're just gonna place this guy in here, like so. I'm gonna put one in, because mine doesn't line up perfectly. I'm gonna place this cylinder on here, and all this is doing is it's basically fixing the gap on the other side. Put it in there. Then I'm gonna get this other one, place it in, put this in here, and then we're gonna tighten it down. Now that we've got it up, you can use it very simply. To show you kind of the way the resistance works, very similar to the tank sled in that there's 4 different settings, 1 through 4. The 1 still provides resistance. It's not a completely neutral drive. There's still quite a bit, I don't know about quite a bit, but there's still some there. However, as you can see here, this is very similar to the tank sled over here. So this is the Tank M1. As you can see, they're using 4 settings. I would guess that the internals on this is the same internals as that endless rope up there, which is nice because this is basically providing direct magnetic resistance to a wheel. The only difference is that one's providing to a rope. That works really well. Now, before I tell you some things that I'm not loving about it, some things that I'd change, I want to show you kind of how it works and some of the versatility. First off, let's just show you using it for conditioning purposes. Let's go. Now, this is great for conditioning. It's kind of like a simulated ski erg in a way with a fatter rope. The one thing I don't want to happen with this is it's not just made for conditioning. It's great for other different things, kind of like simulating a lat pull down in some ways, or using it as you would a sled for rows or simulated rope climbs like this. Now, the last thing that I would recommend using this for is changing the direction. Now, I've had a lot of fun playing with this and coming up with creative workouts. I would like to see them come up with some sort of one of these pulleys that then attaches down below and you can route it in. However, I kind of made a DIY version with these band pegs. So I basically slot these band pegs in the upright. I then place the rope around it, and I can now do all sorts of movements like rope pulls, curls, and others like these. Now, 2 things about the magnetic resistance I like. One is this rope is bidirectional, meaning if you pull on this side, you'll pull on this side too. The other is how quick this is to change. However, on the flip side of that, the one thing I'd like to see different is this number 1. There is some resistance here. I would love it if it was more similar to the Tank M1, where the number 1 is basically no resistance. So you're able to just basically freewheel it through. I think there's definitely purposes that could work for people that maybe aren't as strong, or I like to use gym equipment with my kids, so this would be a great thing I do with the kids, but I still think 1 is a little bit heavy. Just something quick that I noticed. The other issue that I found with this is this rope. So this is a prototype rope. I still want to mention it because you guys have probably noticed on video, but this rope snapped. Now, whenever we get gym equipment in, I actually test and use it, so I kind of go hard on it. And also wrapping it around these band pegs can cause issues. However, I sent that to them and they said, you don't need to worry about it. That's a prototype rope that we kind of made in-house just for this review. The retail ones are going to be different. There shouldn't be any issues there. And if there ever was, it's got like a 10-year warranty on it or something like that. So shouldn't be a problem. But I still wanted to mention it. And then lastly is the thing that I think many people are probably going to sound off in the comments, and that is the price. This thing is not cheap. Okay. In fact, I want to make sure you guys are sitting down before I say this because it's kind of a lot. In fact, when I first saw it, they didn't tell me the price. They sent us one for review. They didn't tell us the price. So I was like, I'm guessing it's going to be probably around what the tank is, the Tank M1. It's a decent price at $795. It's still pretty high for home gym owners, but you know, I can see parts of it why it's so high. I was thinking it's going to be similar to that because it's probably using similar internals. No. This bad boy is $1,095. $1,095 for this. Like, that's the problem. I want to recommend this thing because it is very well done. Everything about it, the powder coat, the strap, I mean, this rope, if this issue didn't happen, like I'm guessing the retail one's going to be a lot nicer. The bidirectional capability of the magnetic resistance, the rotating head, the ability to put it on the rack, everything about it is just, I really like it. And then I get the price, and I'm like, man, there's going to be so many home gym owners that would love this piece that simply won't be able to justify the purchase because for this, you could get this over here, which is a standalone lat pull down with 300-pound weight stack for about the same price shipped to your door. And so can I recommend that rope over this? No. For most home gym owners, no. There's a lot better options. However, this is what I'll say. If you see that price at $1,095 and you're able to stomach it fine, you will love this piece. This thing is amazing. And that's kind of the difficulty is I'm recommending on different bases. I'm recommending, hey, like for the budget home gym owner, you should absolutely avoid this because it is versatile and it is helpful, but there's a lot of other pieces that would be more helpful and it's very expensive. However, for the person that likes the nicer things in life, doesn't mind the price, and wants to really just add a lot of stuff to their gym, a lot of versatility in a small space, this thing's amazing. It really is. I'm going to use this probably twice a week throughout my workouts. It's great. I love all the different capabilities of it. I just hate that freaking price. But I guess that's part of having nice things. I'd be curious their margins, but regardless, that's the price, so that's what we got to deal with. That said, this is, if you look at other type drum options like these are almost always expensive if they have a motor. If they don't have a motor, they don't have different resistance profiles, so it's kind of hard to compare. They're cheaper, but most of the drum ones that you're using resistance, they're at least a couple grand. So this price isn't really that egregious in comparison to those, and I'm guessing that's how they priced it. Okay, this is Coop from Garage Gym Reviews. What do you think? Does that $1,095 just make you want to throw up or what? Let me know in the comments. We'll see you next time.